Aloha, y'all. Your boy Jay coming back at you deep in the Hawaiian jungle. Once again with the late night podcast. Talking about tips for finding the right off-grid property. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to say right off the bat, from somebody that has bought property or land, if you will, and has bought a home before, buying land is going to be a hell of a lot more difficult. At least in Hawaii it was. You plan on buying property or land, at least in Hawaii, you better start looking now. So I'm gonna let it marinate here for a second. Let some people start getting into the room. Hopefully I can keep my battery cranking. I forgot to charge the battery this morning, so my just talking about the battery on my laptop. So, but we should be all good in the hood. It should be all good. Let's see. We'll get CNN all queued up as well, so we can find out the latest from the press. See what the press got going. But yep. Of course, very similar to, anything, a house, an apartment. Buying land is all about what you believe you want to do with the property. When we first started looking for our property, we wanted something really, really small. I mean, something less than an acre. But I assume that most people had that same philosophy because, for the smaller plots. What's good with you? Aloha. What's up with you? Sintitan? What's good with you? What's up with you? What is that sound? That's the Kokies. That's the Kokies, man. Yeah, that's the good Kokies. What's up, doggy? What's good with you? What's cracking? Y'all coming in fast? Alexis, what's crackalating? I see you. What's populating with it? Let me see. Now, are you alone? No, I'm not alone. I hope not. My wife hasn't left me. No. No, what's good with y'all? That's the Koki sound you're hearing in the background. Yeah, what's good with you? I can't, man, y'all, Samuel, what's good with you? The other one before that, what's that? Something Monk. I see you. Mimic Monk, I believe. You're going to come get to be careful. What's that? We just say, damn, bro, coyotes. No, I saw a skinwalker. What the hell is a skinwalker? Nah, man. That's just the Kokies. The frogs, they chilling, they partying. That's how they get their party on. What should I pass out? What do you say? I can't read what you say. I can't even see what that's saying because I got my little holder in there. So I don't know. If you passed out, call 911 for yourself or something. Tell somebody to help you. I don't know. What's it saying? No, for what shot? I can't see what you're saying. But yeah, though, we're talking about the off-grid property. Yep, if you're talking about getting off-grid property, especially in Hawaii, I tell you to start now. Yep, it was. I mean, once you find the property you want and you can find the proper owners and all the paperwork is right, it's a pretty easy deal from there. But just getting to that point can be tough, man. Yep, because lots of these properties around here, you don't know who owns them. You don't know who, they've been handed down through the generations, or even if it's not owned by, a local family. I mean, you got people overseas buying these properties. You know, people try to pass these properties on to their loved ones. You know, the paperwork ain't right there. So all I can tell you is, if you're looking at getting a property in Hawaii, start now. You know, that was the hardest part, is just finding a piece of land that actually, the title was clean. You knew who owned the title. You have the dude who owned our property before us. He owned this place for like 20 years prior to us getting it. Hold on one second. Something is over here. Let me take this. But yup, he owned it for like 20 years. Dang it, this thing is acting up. Hold up, y'all. Yep. He owned it for like 20 years. So, and we was fortunate enough that he never really did much on the property. He didn't even really come on the property. So it was basically, you know, just untouched land when we bought it. So, but it was a nightmare just trying to figure out who owned the property. You know, was it title free and clear and all that good stuff. We went through 4 or 5 different properties, from between being outbidded and just finding out who actually owned the property. Man, it was I mean, we looked hard for months. And this was during the time when there was a lot of properties available. I don't think there's as many properties available anymore. But also, you know, you wanna make sure you don't get too much land. Because like as y'all have probably seen on some of my previous videos, we didn't own this property. We didn't been on it for 5 years totally, but we've owned it for 8 years, and we've only seen 1 acre out of 3 in 8 years. So, I mean, one could argue that we bought too much land. So it's really all about what you want to do with your land. I would strongly suggest that are you gonna have a job away from the land? Is your job just gonna be working full time on the land? Because if you want a nicely landscaped piece of property, at least in Hawaii, where we live on the east side, you can forget about trying to have a job, because you'll never be able to have a job and do the kind of treacherous landscaping and yard work that we do. That's required to keep a property on this side of the island maintained. So yeah, I would strongly suggest you figure out if you're gonna still have a job away from the land. I would strongly not suggest getting too much acreage. You know, I don't know, unless you got family, or you got a team of people that's gonna be working it for you, working the land for you. If it's just you, or you and your spouse, and y'all both work, I would suggest getting a smaller piece of property. You know, unless it's for investment purposes mainly, and you realize, okay, I just want to use this little front part to live on, and I'm gonna just let the back just do what it do, just so I have the acreage for investment purposes. Also, what are you going to, if you're going to be staying on the land and working on the land, what exactly are you trying to sell from the land? Are you trying to sell wood products from there? You doing tours from there? Are you doing, whatever you're going to be doing from there? Is it feasible for you to set up a shop on your land if you're going to be working wood products? What type of trees do you have? Because As you know here, we're surrounded by the Hawaiian ohia tree, which suffers from that disease. So, there is no between the the cultural significance of the tree and the disease. No, you're not going to be selling many products, from ohia wood. So, not only do you got to figure out what type of wood you have, and is it the type of wood that you want to use to build your products, but also is it even legal to sell products from that type of wood? So that's some of the research you want to do from a security standpoint, because a lot of people, they moving out of the cities, they moving out of the suburbs because they want to buy property to be more, secure and keep their family safe. So you got to figure out, how far is the property from the main road? Sometimes your seclusion can also come to at your detriment. And that's kind of what happened to us here. Like, we in the last road in the subdivision. But, and that's a good thing in a lot of respects. You get a lot more privacy. I would imagine you're safer from a lot of riffraff, but, just 1 or 2 blocks away is where the internet actually stops. So that's why you see me lots of times with a bad connection, because the cell tower doesn't reach all the way. Well, it doesn't reach very well where we are. So we still get some connection, but that's a cost of being in the last road in the subdivision. So just like with anything, there's pros and cons to everything. So. What else? And you definitely don't want to overpay for a piece of property. You want to find something. From what I found, the more remote a location is, usually those are the properties you can get a better asking price for. But once again, you gotta say to yourself, because we in the last road in the subdivision, but we don't own a car. So, once again, that seclusion can also come at your detriment. So, you gotta ask yourself, is this a good spot for the type of vehicle I have? Do I need to be, taking kids to school every day? Is there a school bus that comes out here? Is there a city bus that comes out here? I mean, for years, we would have to walk the 4 miles to the main road because the city bus didn't come into the subdivision. So it comes into the subdivision now, at a later time. So we do have that option. But when we first moved out here, we had no clue where the buses ran, none of that. We just, for the most part, just wanted a piece of property. So that's something you definitely want to think about. Once again, where are you gonna buy your property? What type of fruits and vegetables do you want to grow? If you want to grow banana trees, don't move to Alaska. Whatever you do, don't move to Alaska. And are you gonna have an earth ship? Because sometimes you can move into different climates. If you're gonna have, an earth ship with a greenhouse on it. So it's just all about what you're looking for, man. Computer ain't acting right. Forgot to charge it this morning. Yup. What else? As far as your property. I bought sight unseen. My wife and I, we bought sight unseen. So, and we got lucky, Fortunate enough, we didn't really have neighbors that were occupying the properties on either side. Because that's something you want to look out for. Who are your neighbors? If you can find out, I mean, do they have? Is it 55 people living on their property? Do they got a bunch of loud dogs? Do they have a bunch of abandoned cars? You know, you wanna get to know all of that before you buy. Yeah, see, I was just so enamored with the price that I didn't even look into all that. I was just like, man, just give me the property. So if I had to do it all over again, I'm not sure I would buy sight unseen. But we were very, very fortunate. What else? What else as far as your off-grid property? If you buy property in, at least on the east side of Hawaii, I would only believe the listing to a certain extent. A lot of y'all have seen my shorts, and you've seen the terrain here, how uneven and rocky and bumpy and all that it is. Our listing stated that the property should be fairly flat. All I can tell you is, if nobody has been on your property, if you're buying on the east side of the Big Island and nobody has been on your property, they have no clue how flat it is. They have no clue. It's impossible to tell. So once again, you want to watch out for what that listing says and what it doesn't say. One sec. Oh, this thing, man, it's starting to get this rain on. Getting this rain on. So hopefully I'll lose y'all. Yeah, like I said before, in about another week, I'm coming out with another. I'm getting another a better phone. So, my off-grid, my connection problem should be better. Just put. My arm is numb and I passed out. What I tell you, silliness. The new National Police Force. You're trying to have a police force? Damn. But what else? Like I've said in the past, we paid 15, 16 out the door. You can get one of these now for about 40 out the door. What else? Once again, you got to figure out what is your family going to be living on the land? Is it just going to be you on the land? Is your extended family going to be living on the land? Are you going to do the labor as far as a driveway goes? I mean, because over here, I'm talking about you starting from complete scratch over here. I mean, if you're in a house right now, or a or a condo or whatever, that land was staked. In other words, they found the boundaries of each property owner. They did that probably 200-300 years ago where you are. We had to get that done. That's how grassroots, that's how underground, that's how from the beginning it gets out here. Yeah, when we first got here, we actually spent the weekend on the wrong land. We was on somebody else's property because we wasn't exactly sure. Our real estate agent, he said, your property is about here. So you think we went and got it staked and found out exactly where? No. We went about where he told us. It was like, well, this looks good. We look back at that and we laugh. My wife and I, we both laugh at that. So, I mean, remember, you're gonna be starting from scratch on the east side of the Big Island. So Now, I don't know about where you are. Lots of properties on the mainland, I'm sure they've already been staked, surveyed, and all that. All that stuff has already been done. But over here, no, man. Yeah, lots of times you gotta get that surveyed. So, that's another big one. That's another one that you want to factor in a little bit of overhead for, because we got our front staked, and as we go further back, we're starting to see where maybe years ago somebody else had it staked. So we're starting to find old ribbons. So the more ribbons you can find on your property, the more money it's going to save you, because that means somebody previously had it staked. So that's usually a big help. But yeah, at least over here, the big thing here is, if you got a car, is a driveway. A lot of people with cars, the first thing they try to do is, how am I going to get a little road built back 3 acres, or even a half acre back, so I can bring my car in? Because once again, you dealing with terrain that's doo-doo, straight up and down. So it ain't nothing's flat over here. No. You're not just gonna dump some gravel down and you ready to go. No. You got to we see a lot of people that do that. We see a lot of people that just pretty much dump gravel on top of all this compost. And if you're not here to maintain it, you just wasted. I don't know what it is, 5-10 grand. Nope. You want to take that. Look at some of the pictures and the clips from our driveway. Yep, you will notice that our rock is all the way down to the pahoehoe, all the way down to the bone. My advice, if you don't want to deal with a bunch of weeds growing back, take it all the way down to that lava rock. I'm talking about all the way. And then put your cinder down. If not, the moment it rains, you're going to be dealing with weeds. Yup. That stuff ain't going to stop. That ain't going to stop them weeds. That little bit of cinder. People think, well, if I just dump this down, that'll stop it. Them weeds gonna laugh at the cinder, man. Let it start raining. Let you get that mix of rain and sunshine. The perfect growing conditions. It's a wrap. Yeah. So, what else here? What else as far as your property? Oh yeah, and when you build, be careful that you're not building around these ohias, man. Yup. These ohias will fall, and that'll put a damper on your day, on your life, on your year real quick like. So either buy a good chainsaw and learn how to chop down your own trees. Believe it or not, we have a chainsaw, but I barely use it because I like using just the raw axe. I didn't think I could use the raw axe in the beginning, but in my opinion, using the axe is, you using just about the same amount of energy as the chainsaw, in my opinion. So, but if you're not the type of person that wants to chop down trees, then find you a decent a tree trimmer man that's going to actually charge you a fair rate, because out here in this forest, mate, you do not want these ohias falling on you or by you. Believe you me. So that's something you definitely want to figure out there. Yep. What else as far as the property? The main thing is, for the people that came on a little bit late, start searching now for your property. If you move into Hawaii, you will be shocked how difficult it is to find out who owns some of these properties. Is the title free and clear? Can the person actually resell the property? Can the person Is the person authorized to sell it, or do they need to talk to somebody else? Is the person in the United States? Man, we was getting property people all over in France, and it's tied up in wills, and yeah, man, it is not as simple as just like a house is listed or a condo is listed. Okay, I got the money, I'm approved for the mortgage or whatever. Okay, let's close the sale. No, land was at least on the east side of Hawaii Island, was a hell of a lot more difficult to acquire. And it's not so much you, it's not you, it's the property owners. It's like once they find out, okay, yes, this person once we found the person that owned the property and wanted to sell, it was a piece of cake. It was just finding a piece of property that you could find the owner. And I know it sounds a trip. It's like, well, why would somebody, or who listed the property? Why would they list property and not know who the owner is? Exactly. But we kept running into that. So that's just something. If you think about moving to the east side of the Big Island, that is something you want to keep in mind. So, but yeah, I talk to, I look online a lot, and people come onto the chat. A lot of people trying to figure out exactly what they want to do with themselves. Do they want to buy a house or buy property? I would definitely say buy land. Buy land first. You're going to be able to do a lot more with land. I remember when I owned my house in California, man, I tried to give a art exhibition in my house with my art. And the city came out like, nah, nigga, you can't do that. I'm like, I can't have no exhibition here. They're like, nah, there ain't no commercial, no nothing, no not Nathan. So if you looking at running a little small business or something, you definitely want to buy land. That's what these plots are created for. For agriculture or agriculture related businesses, or if you're just trying to run, a small business. It's good to have this acreage to work with. So yeah, I mean, for somebody that has owned a house and has owned land, yeah, man, there is no comparison as far as what you want to buy. There is no comparison. You can do so much more. There's so much more upside with buying land versus property, versus a house, I should say. Yep. But you're gonna work harder. You're gonna work harder because with your house, your yard ain't that big. I mean, you can even hire a gardener to do what you need to do. And you ain't hiring no gardener out here. You are not gonna hire no gardener out here. Nope. Now if you want something done correctly, it's too much work. This is something that you got to do pretty much around the clock, yo. Yup. Pretty much around the clock. Yup. Go over here for a second. I'll be right back. Around the clock, you're going to be working. Believe you me. So, that's another thing. If you don't like yard work, I know y'all heard this on some of the other podcasts. If you don't like yard work, do not buy land on the east side of the Big Island. Because you're gonna have yard work up to here. Yup. So that's another reason why, like I say, you gotta watch out. It sounds good saying that I own 10 acres. I own 20 acres. Yeah, nigga, you got to work 20 acres too. You got to work 10 acres too. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Make sure you check on the property taxes. Over here we got pretty reasonable property taxes over here. You know, you also got to find out, do you have road fees? They charge us a couple $100 a year just to so-called maintain these roads. So that's definitely another thing you want to look at. Is there road fees? What's the property taxes like? How often do I have to pay these taxes and these bills? Yeah. So it's a few other, it is a few other things. Even if you buy your property outright, there is a couple other bills that you will have. You know, albeit smaller, but you will have a couple other bills related to the property. Let me let's check what the prayers got going here. Let me check the latest headlines. Russia's deadliest aerial assault on Ukraine persists for the second night. I thought the president had Putin in check. I thought he told Putin don't be doing that. I guess Putin didn't listen. Surprise. Ain't that about nothing. Trump praises good English of Liberian president, prompting criticism across Africa. And I know exactly what they're talking about. I'm getting people telling me, "Oh, you talk well." I know how to talk. people be killing me with that. Oh, you talk well. Well, of course I talk well. Nigga, I went to school just like you went to school. I tell you, that is some of the most racist, degrading thing that you can tell a person. Oh, you talk well. Shut up. Damn shame. At that level that you would use a statement like that. FEMA's Texas flood response slowed by NOAA's cost controls. Yeah, it's gonna start coming out how the government actually cost themselves. The government that those cutbacks that actually cost a lot of lives. That cost a lot of lives. They can say whatever they want. Death toll rises to 120. Man, that's a cold shot there. That's a cold shot there. Go, keep. Go, keep. Let me go up in here like I usually do and like my own post. What do we got here? YouTube. Let me see here. Paradise Unplugged. But yeah, what else? What else as far as your property goes? The main thing is don't bite off more than you can chew, because it's easy to do. It's easy to say, man, I want this, I want that, I want this. I'm trying to get that with it. It's easy to do. I want this, I want that. We're going to do this on it. We're going to do that on it. To that bad boy. Till you start breaking them shovels. You're like, this tougher than I thought. But it's, in my opinion, it is much more rewarding than buying a house. Getting the land is going to be much more rewarding than buying a house. You're going to be able to do more. I mean, of course, if that's what you want to do. A lot of people just want to get a house, go to work, come home, and just chill out in their house. And if that's what you want to do, no problem. More power to you. More power to you if that's the way you want to do it. What else he done done? Let me check the futures market here. Trump threatens 50% tariffs on Brazil. He coming after the BRICS now. If it doesn't stop the Bolsonaro witch hunt trial. He just gonna use tariffs like a gangster. Like that's just straight strong arming countries. Let him off. Well, impose a that nigga coming out like Big Paul Castellano or some damn body. How you going threaten to impose a tariff on the whole country if they don't stop a trial? This guy coming out like Carlo Gambino. I tell you, man, the prayers is something else. Let me see what this is doing. Futures is down because of this August 1st copper tariff. Reciprocity tariffs are coming, said Brazil. You hit me, I'll hit you back. This dude. I don't know why he think people gonna come back to this country with manufacturing. Ain't nobody coming back here. You are not going. They want this country to be 1950 again. Them days is done. They want it to be 1950 economically, racially. Ain't nobody going back to that, G. I don't know why y'all fooling yourselves into thinking that all these companies gonna come back here and start manufacturing here again and get rid of all the civil rights, get rid of all women's rights. Ain't nobody going for that, G. That ain't happening. Them niggas want to turn on the TV and say, Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. Then we can come, and that'll come, and that'll wait for you. These days arrive. So happy and free, those happy days. Look at them days is done. But the prayers is bound. I kept bound and determined to take this country back to 1950. Ain't happening, G. It ain't happening. You wait till they say we're supposed to start feeling the effects of these tariffs very soon. So let's check the numbers, man. Futures is off 88. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Let's kick it off. Let's check the markets. Let's kick it off with oil. Let's see what this oil market doing. So happy and free, those happy days. These days are high. 68. Holding at 68. Gold at 33. Gold was up $9. Okay. Oh, that's the futures. That's the futures. Yeah, okay. Like they say, silver just gonna hop along for the ride with gold. That's the word on the street here. Let's see what where's my good markets, man? Where's my good bond market? Crypto, where are the bonds? Where the bond market at, G? Where's that good bond market? Let's see what the 10-year is at. Still holding at 4.3. Like I said, the prayers can keep you at 4.3. 4.3, even 4.4. Don't get it. Don't start ticking up to 4.5, 4.6. No, sir. No, sir, Bob. You don't want that. So once again, it looked like the prayers got the market under control. So you can't knock him for that. We got a nice night tonight. It's a little cloudy. But you see the stream ain't messed up at all. Let's see what Kilauea is doing. That volcano was cracking earlier. That's why my allergies is messing up again. That volcano was cracking earlier. Uh-oh, I got a low battery. The computer finna shut off. Let's see. Before you shut off, it's just smoldering right now. Kilauea just smoldering. It was on and popping earlier. I'll tell you that. All right, let me shut this thing down. Forgot to charge my computer earlier. Running around here like a chicken with my head cut off. I can kill this hotspot too. Yep, so, once again, buying your property. That's all. Yep, if you're buying property on the east side of the Big Island, start now. That's the best advice I can give you is to start immediately. Because it's going to be more difficult than one may think. Yep, just to find the right piece of land. But once you get on it, that's another thing. Do not come on the property and do a little bit of yard work and then we'll come back. And this is on the 4th of July. And we'll be back on Labor Day to do a little something. And we'll be back at Christmas. Whatever you do, don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that. You ain't going to do nothing but create a whole bunch more work for yourself. Because as soon as you leave, it's still going to rain and the sun's still going to beat down, which means you're going to have the perfect growing conditions. So whatever you do, don't do that. But it can be very rewarding. If you're the type of person that wants to get in shape, buy some property. Yeah, other than when I was in high school running track on a high level, I ain't never been in better shape in all my days. You will get your ass in shape if you come out here and work this land. And that goes for anywhere, I would imagine. Working land is physically tough. Yep. But you're gonna learn a lot about yourself. You're gonna learn a whole lot about yourself. You're gonna learn what you like and what you don't like, how much you can handle, how much you can't handle. So I definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend it. What else here? What else? It's if you're looking at and getting rid of your bills, Because you sure ain't going to do it living in a house. You ain't going to do it living in a house or paying rent with some high-end condo. You are not going to, most people are not going to be able to save any money. That's why everybody complaining now about how difficult it is to save money, to get ahead, because too much overhead hitting you. You got the rent, you got the mortgage, you got the light bill, gas bill, water bill, the insurance. I keep hearing these horror stories about these insurance companies is just changing the policy on you, won't renew your policy unless it's some twisted deal that heavily favors them. Man, don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that. Come out here, build you something very small on your property. And I mean, if you want to get insurance, you can, but insurance, that's the last thing we worry about. Is some damn insurance. Because we know if something go wrong, we can just rebuild the property. We can just rebuild our little structure. That's why I keep enforcing. Keep the structures small. Micro small. Teensy weensy micro small. Get out of here. Mosquitoes. Yep. In case something goes wrong, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, and you're not going to have to hire an entire construction crew to fix it for you. So, yep. Once again, start catching that water immediately. Start drying that wood immediately. So, yep, if you're going to get rid of your bills, if you're going to seriously get ahead, you better look into getting you some property. That's about to become the new thing. I mean, it's too many people that can't afford property. They can't afford a house. Hear people talking, I ain't got down payment. I don't have 100,000. I don't have 50,000. Man, what y'all need to be trying to come up with is trying to get your hands on between $5,000 to $10,000. That's all you need, between 5 and 10 G's, and start searching the country for some affordable property and get out of your mother's back room, or get out of paying that high ass rent. You'll see. It's a reason why they don't teach you this in school. Because they don't want everybody running out doing that. I mean, just imagine if everybody who owned a house right now got rid of their house, came out and started buying up this remote land and started living off grid. The cities would go bankrupt. They'd be like, who gonna pay the water bill? Who gonna pay the light bill? We can't survive without that. No, I'm telling you something that they're not gonna tell you. That it was probably most people. I won't say all, but most people was never taught. The people that I give a lot of credit to, I used to laugh at them when I was a kid living in Ohio. Was the Amish. Shit, nigga, the Amish knew exactly what was going on. The Amish was had the game on lock. Nigga, before you even knew what land was, before you knew what acreage was, I got a lot of videos that I got bookmarked that are produced by Amish farmers and people from the Amish country. Hell yeah, they know exactly what the hell they doing. I never thought in a million years that I would say that. Nigga, the Amish, they got the game on lock as far as the off-grid and being self-sustainable. Yeah, man. So that's a group of individuals I definitely suggest you start following. They got a lot of great gardening tips, a lot of great structure building tips, and I just like the way they run their society. I'm not sure of the rules. I don't know if you can go on Amish land if you're not Amish. I'm not sure. But I like the way they got their society somewhat closed up, because as it gets economically tougher out there, you're gonna start seeing more and more people have smaller and smaller groups of individuals around them, because you got so many desperate, scandalous people out there, so many backstabbing people. Because I mean, like my father used to tell me, you gotta eat. If you ain't got no job, you ain't got no money, how you gonna eat? Yup, especially with Trump and this big beautiful bill. People talking about, well, they got EBT. They talking about cutting that too, man. So you can't count on that. Nope, you gotta count on you. So yeah, I would definitely suggest looking up some Amish videos and following the Amish. Once again, as I say in every video, I'm not advising anybody. I'm just giving you my opinion on what we do, and if I had, a son or daughter, what I would tell them to do. So, but yeah, I'm gonna let y'all listen to the Kokies here for a second. Got on the phone. That's the number one question I get as soon as the chat starts. Not, hey, what's up? Or hey, what's going on with the off grid? Let me ask you a question. First thing I get is, what is all that chirping in the background? Can you turn that down? That's Koki frogs, and they was here before I was here, and they're gonna be here long after I'm gone. And no, I cannot turn that sound down. That's the sound we use to go to sleep every night. Yeah, we like the Koki frogs. Yep. They hood with it. Yep. But yeah, buying land can be rewarding. I like to start looking at property in other remote locations throughout the world. That's another thing. You always want to have a second location. Even when you get your first piece of property, once you get kind of settled on that, start looking around for another piece. Look in other countries. I mean, they got a lot of property over in Vietnam, over in China. That's very, very affordable. Extremely affordable. Down in like Panama. Where else? Where else did I see that there was really cheap property? New Mexico's got really affordable property. So, even if you're not living where you want to live on your first purchase, don't let that stop you from getting in this game. You want to get in this game as soon as you can. Start living off grid. Start saving that money. Start building your empire. Start building your own personal business from that land. Yup. You got to go out there and run off to some job. Yep, you're smart enough to build your own thing from your own property. So, but I'm just about an hour in, so I'm gonna wrap this bad boy up. Once again, I got a better phone that should be showing up here in about a week. So hopefully we get the stream cracking. Hopefully we can get the stream going a little bit smoother. If you haven't already, y'all hit that like button. Y'all hit that sub button. Y'all mainly hit that sub button. I'm getting close to 1,000. Y'all help me get over 1,000 people. I'm trying to get to 1,000. Hit that and keep the sub. Don't sub and then tomorrow say, I don't want to sub now. Keep the sub going, man. And y'all hit that notification button. We coming back at you. Aloha.